My name is Lara, Astrology Addict, and this is the first lesson of my lesson series on Astrology Basics. So Socrates believes and says that before you start a discussion or a debate or teach somebody a topic, you have to be able to define that topic, especially with those very broad, abstract concepts like love or justice or astrology. Because if my understanding and my definition of astrology is different from your understanding, then we're not going to be able to make a connection, because I'm going to be teaching something that you don't understand, and I'm not going to know that you don't understand it. So that's why we start this off with a definition, so that you have a correct understanding of what astrology is. So what is astrology? Well, what is astrology not? It's not just horoscopes in magazines and newspapers. And if you go up to a random person in the West and you ask them, what's astrology? Chances are they're going to say newspaper horoscopes or magazine horoscopes. And that's not what astrology is. Trust me. Astrology is a lot broader than that. And it's a lot more, a lot more scientific, a lot more technical, and a lot more professional. So a majority of those horoscopes that you find in magazines and in newspapers, those aren't written by astrologers, generally speaking. They're written by writers for the magazine or newspaper, and they're just created to appease the reader. They're not created for any other reason. And it's really sad because it gives people a very superficial understanding of what astrology is, and it makes them think that astrology is nothing more than a newspaper saying you're going to meet a stranger today because you were born in August or something like that. Also, astrology isn't fortune telling because free will exists. Astrology can't tell you what you have to do or what will happen to you. Astrology is not a list of instructions. It's not a roadmap for you to follow. Your natal chart is not a roadmap for you to follow. Astrology is a lot bigger than that, and it's a lot more complex. So just because I have my Juno in the 9th house, it doesn't mean that I'm going to marry a foreigner or someone religious or philosophical. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's perfectly fine. I'll go over all of this later in later videos. But just because I have a placement that says that I'm going to marry a foreigner, for example, it doesn't mean I'm going to marry a foreigner, because nothing is really stopping me from going down the street and finding a random person who I want to marry who is not a foreigner or religious or philosophical. Nothing is stopping me from marrying them, and nothing's really stopping me from doing anything within reason. So that's why astrology isn't fortune telling, because it's not binding. It's not saying this is going to happen to you. It just shows you where the easiest flow of energy is in your life and in your self. And we'll go more into this a lot later in bits and pieces throughout all these videos, so hang tight. Astrology is not just sun signs, or the less technical term, star signs. It's because you're not just your sun sign in astrology. You're not just a Virgo or a Capricorn or a Taurus. I just said the earth signs. I don't know why that came to me. But you have a lot more behind you astrologically than just your sun sign. And that's why when people say, oh, well, astrology is fake because you can't, there aren't just 12 personalities, there aren't just 12 definitions of people, or like 12 people. They're not just 12 personalities, basically, in the world. And that's true because there are all these other factors to astrology that people overlook or they fail to learn. And that's why I'm here with these videos, so you can learn too. Astrology is not witchcraft or magic. I'm not an authority figure in either field. I know that witchcraft and magic can incorporate astrology, but astrology isn't dependent on either of them. It can be enjoyed and practiced separate from witchcraft or any of that stuff that I have no authority over. And astrology is not science. Astrology uses the scientific method, sort of. It is based a lot on observations and hypotheses, so it's scientific, but it's not science, because it doesn't follow natural law, natural order. It doesn't follow the laws of nature. So this is my favorite definition of astrology. It's from astro.com, which is one of the best websites you can go to for information on astrology. So I always put this definition in the birth charts that I make, the birth chart readings that I make because I just love this definition. So, astrology sees mankind as being not only influenced by hereditary factors in the environment, but also by the state of our solar system at the moment of birth. The planets are regarded as basic life forces, the tools we live by, as well as the basis of our very substance. These planetary forces take on different forms depending on their zodiacal position and on the way they relate to one another. That basically sums up astrology. It's seeing humans as not only being influenced, not just being influenced by the world around us and by our environment, the world around us, the people around us, society, our psychology, our physiology. It sees us as also being affected by the universe, the entire universe surrounding the Earth, the solar system, and all the energy that comes from all the different planets. That's what astrology is, basically. It's studying how these energies, how this force from all the planets and from just the entire universe around us and all these celestial patterns and all the relationships between the planets and the positions in the sky, how that all affects us energy-wise. So, if that makes sense. So it's just saying that astrology isn't just, or humans aren't just influenced by mundane entities and parts of our lives. So what is astrology? Documenting and tracking celestial patterns and their apparent effects on the world and our individual psyches, which is basically what I just said. Seeing mankind as being influenced by the universe that surrounds us and not just by the earth we live on. So that basically sums up what astrology is. So if you have any questions, you can let me know and I'll answer them if I can. And I hope that makes sense. And I hope that it gives you a stronger, better understanding of what astrology is so that we can continue on with our lessons with a correct mindset and a correct understanding. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for more videos.